right, we are up. Dr. Wiehebrink, do you want to start us out with any updates, things to do, reminders that our group online will need?
Sure. That was actually really nerve-wracking to watch that 30-second countdown. I don't know about you guys. But yeah, so, first off, welcome. I hope you guys are doing okay and hanging in there. Definitely my biggest piece of advice, between now and program start, just a little over a month away, definitely enjoy the calm before the storm. Obviously, you're definitely going to hit the ground running whenever the program starts. But just, make sure that, you stay excited and, definitely we're happy to have you. And of course, feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions along the way. We want to try to ease, any, anxieties you might have or answer any questions that might pop up. So obviously, we're here. A couple of things on my end. There is a little bit of an update on the summer parking permit compared to the last Q&A that we did. So that will actually be available on your student status checklist soon. It should be live tomorrow, I believe. Don't panic if it's not tomorrow, though. It might be Monday. But we've worked with the Office of Public Safety to include that onto your status page. And what you'll do is you'll just enter in, of course, obviously all your vehicle information. And then once we have it on file, the day of orientation and the first day of class, will provide you with a physical parking permit that you'll place in your front dash to be used for this summer. So just a heads up on that. That's your only action item for that, is just to submit that form, and then I'll give you the parking permit that first day. And there'll be a little bit of a grace period that morning. They won't be ticketing, obviously, until you get your permit. Excuse me. Next big thing, transcripts. Quite a few of you have reached out to me just regarding some unique situations about whether or not, your university will have your degree posted on your transcript by that due date that's in your admission letter. Don't panic. Again, just reach out to me and we will work together to figure out an individual solution for it. There are, 99% of the time there are some options, and we can find something that will work. But just make sure that you're communicating with me and your respective registrar's offices, and we can figure out a game plan together. And last but not least, May 3rd is another big deadline on my end. On your student status page, you should see that pre-orientation form. And a lot of you guys have already done it, so thank you so much for taking care of it. But if you haven't, obviously you still have a little bit of time, but I know it's easy to let that slip, especially as you're finishing out the spring semester, or if you're just kind of preparing for the program between now and then. Don't forget about that May 3rd deadline to submit all that pre-orientation information. That, of course, walks you through all of our Bellarmine platforms. In which, speaking of, you all should have your Bellarmine email access by now, but definitely double check. And if you don't, or if you're still having issues logging in, obviously let me know and we can get you access to that. But so those are some of the big things on the pre-orientation form, as well as the tuition contract. That's located on there as well. So just read through all of that information. It's a lot. So if you don't understand something, don't be afraid to ask. I know it's quite a bit of information to consume. So I think that's it on my end, Dr. Ennis, if you want to take it from here.
Sure. And I'm not sure if my comment back to you guys posted or not, but if you have specific questions for us tonight, please post them in the comments box under the video. They will show up in our studio so that we can continue to answer them as we go here. So just a couple of reminders. We are planning on doing COVID testing that first day, because we do have to get you tested before you come to campus. And before means like a half an hour before orientation if we have to. So if for some reason you're getting tested anyway the week before, if you can shoot me an email and just let me know, that would be great. Then I can put you on my bringing my negative test with me list, and I can firm up the planning. But right now we are working on testing starting that morning before orientation. So in that 7 to 8 o'clock hour, I'll have more details as we know how many we need to do. But for those of you who can't get tested beforehand, don't worry. We've got tons of rapid tests. Campus Health will be here and we will manage to get you tested before orientation starts. You will receive your backpack that day with your supplies and all of that kind of stuff. You will have class that afternoon. So you're going to spend the morning with me and several of our administrative folks in orientation, but you've got class that afternoon. So be ready. Feel free, if you want to do like business casual or khakis and a polo, then feel free to wear that for orientation. I'd bring something comfortable for later in the day, just because you will be sitting. And then you do have class the rest of that week. We are working on white coat ceremony. We have a couple of possibilities, and as soon as I can give you a firm date, I will on that, whether it's going to be this summer or whether it will be early in the fall. I'm going to stop myself right now because I did see a question pop up. If you're going to test before you get there, no more than 5 days before you come to campus. Okay, they want it within that week before. So since we're starting on Monday, I would say Monday or later of the week before. And if you can't do that, don't stress about it. Like I said, we're going to get them done on campus. That's not a problem. For those of you who will be living in campus housing, the move-in date is Sunday, the 23rd, and then we start class Monday, the 24th. So that next morning. Your exams will run through July 9th. So you potentially will have exams that Friday, because that Monday you're off as part of the July 5th holiday. So do not plan flights out on Friday, please, because we don't know what that Friday schedule is going to look like on the 9th, but that will be your last day. Then you will be off until, is it the 19th, Dr. Wiehebrink?
I'm 99.3% certain.
The third Thursday in August, which I believe is the 19th this year, is your first day back to class for the fall semester. As of now, and I'm going to knock on every piece of wood I can find, we are planning on a typical fall semester. So barring numbers going crazy, finals are usually that first week in December. And I can get that official date to you later. But we usually have a short 2 to 3 day break in October for fall break, a short 2 to 3 day break for Thanksgiving in November. And then we're back for about a week and a half before finals. Unless we hear something quickly with numbers changing, that is what I understand the plan will be for the fall. I do have another question. So tuition bill and due date, does that drop in their slate folder, or Jordan?
No, so that'll be coming through. That'll be on One Bellarmine. Now they'll receive an email whenever that's populated. Typically tuition bills, well, the tuition is due on June 18th. So just a heads up on that. And then the tuition bill will typically post at the end of the first week of classes.
Great. I'm trying to think other things that I have. I would plan on a mix of, you know, clothes that cover you completely and clothes that will allow exposure of arms, legs, that kind of thing. So tank tops, sports bras, shorts, because you do have a lab class in the summer. It will be mostly mobility transfers, less exposing of body parts than you're going to get into in the fall. So you probably don't have to be as prepared for that this summer, but bring a variety of pieces of clothing. And I would plan on layers, just because we never know what the temperature in our rooms is going to be like. We have some control, but we also have a lot of windows. And so if it's a nice, bright, sunny day outside, it tends to raise the temperature in the rooms when there's 72 people in the room. So I would bring layers. You will get a copy of our student handbook electronically. The dress code is in there, so please take a look at that. And we will talk through that. You don't have to wear scrubs to lab. Most of your labs, you can get away with, you know, loose fitting pants, sweatpants, something like that, leggings, women, and a loose t-shirt, tank top, sports bra for the ladies if we need to get to a shoulder or something like that. The only time that scrubs are a really good idea is for the dissection class, and that won't be until your second fall. There may be some clinicals that would like you to wear scrubs, but that's not a requirement for labs. Here's the good news about your books. The majority of your textbooks are online, and you will have access to them day one. We will get, I think there are maybe 2 books this summer that are not on the online portal, and we will get that to you, what day is it? By early May, so that if you want to procure them somewhere other than our bookstore, you have the ability to do that. But the majority of your books throughout the curriculum, I think there's only 6 throughout the whole 3 years that are not in our online portal. And there are also other things in our online portal, other books that are not required by the program but can be useful resources. Videos are in there, quiz questions to quiz yourself are in there, case studies are in there. So I will go through all of those resources with you during orientation, so that you will have them and know how to get to them and create your account, no problem. There are refrigerators in the classrooms on the 2nd and 3rd floor. So if you want to bring food for most of your days, you're welcome to do that. We do have the small cafe in the building, and they have told me that they're going to be there this summer. So we should have some food available for you. We'll let you know about food for orientation day as we get closer. But you do have both refrigerators and microwaves accessible to you in the building throughout the spring, summer, fall. So if you want to bring your own food, you're welcome to do that. You will also get a locker with a lock so that you can put stuff locked away and not have to be tripping over it in the classroom. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, Dr. Wiehebrink, that we wanted to make sure we hit on tonight, otherwise to open it to questions from you guys.
I do have kind of one tiny update, especially as it relates to, COVID safety, and somewhat of an apology because we meant to mail these out quite a bit sooner, but we had some delay issues in getting them received. But we did order some Bellarmine masks for you guys. So those should be in, and I will be working on mailing those to you all. Like I said, apologies for not having them as soon as we had hoped, but you're obviously more than welcome to start wearing them once you receive them, and hopefully they will come to be good use the summer semester. But yeah, so just be on the lookout for those to be arriving sometime soon.
Yes, and we will be requiring masks in the classroom. During lab sessions, you're going to add a face shield over top of that because we will be working a little closer with each other. And we will be able to spread out for labs in the building a little bit, but the plan right now is to all be in the same room during the summer. I think we have worked out the numbers and the spacing so that we can do that. So please make sure that we're keeping up with everything that we've gotten so good at over the last 15 months, wearing your mask, washing your hands, all of those kinds of things. We have hand sanitizer in the rooms all over the place, wipes in the rooms all over the place. And we've been tremendously fortunate since last March, when we went completely online for a brief period of time, that we have had no in-class transmission with all of the precautions that we put into place. So I fully anticipate that to continue and appreciate your help in making that happen. What other questions do you guys have? Pop them in the discussion board. Otherwise, Dr. Wiehebrink and I can just smile at you for a little bit. General outline of your class schedule. So if you log into your One Bellarmine account and you are not recently admitted, like within the last week, you should be registered for classes. So when you go into self-service, you should be able to see the calendar for the summer semester that has your schedule in it. Generally, your classes start at either 8 or 8:30 in the morning. Most days they're going to go till 4:30 in the afternoon. Fridays this summer are going to be used as kind of overflow time because we have a couple of Mondays off, so we're going to need to spread some things to those Fridays. But those will not show on your calendar. Okay, those are going to be discussed with you by faculty on the first day of class. So hopefully that helps with that question. There's a question about summer housing, when the information about that's going to be released, Dr. Wiehebrink.
So I'm assuming you're asking about summer housing assignments. If not, please feel free to clarify. But if you're asking specifically about when you'll hear which dorm you're assigned to, so I know they are working on that right now. Double check and make sure that Residence Life has everything that they need from you for your application. They would have emailed you if not. I know that there was a handful of students that they were still waiting on some information for. So like I said, just double check and make sure they have everything they need on their end. And then it's usually a fairly quick turnaround time for them to let you know. But there is still, plenty of summer housing available. There's not necessarily a specific deadline to apply for summer housing, but that said, if you're considering it, Residence Life did want me to relay the message. They would much rather you go ahead and fill out an application if you're even just kind of considering it, so that way they can, be certain that they do have a space for you. And then at the last minute, if you change your mind, that's totally fine. But they would much rather you apply now than wait until the day before and need a free space. So, and also, before I forget, because some of you guys have just been emailing me individually, I know a lot of people are coming in town over the next few weeks to just check out the area and even look at some other off-campus housing options, either for this summer or for the fall after that. And two things. One, I wanted to warn you if you're planning on coming next weekend. Next weekend is Derby here in town, so I would maybe consider not coming next weekend because unless you have a hotel room, there's probably not going to be a good chance for you getting one. And it's really not, even though obviously the energy in town is amazing, traffic is going to be crazy. It's just Derby time here in town is nuts. So maybe not the best time for you to come visit if you're trying to, if you're on a tight timeline and trying to get things straightened out. So just a little tidbit. But I have had some requests to meet with people one-on-one while they're in town. Obviously, if my schedule allows, I would be more than happy to. So feel free to give me the time frame in which you're going to be on campus or in the area. And if you want to meet in person or, check things out on main campus or even in the PT building, I'm happy to help. Just send me some options and I'll shoot you a quick yes or no.
So there's a question about picking your instructor. No, you don't. Our courses are all team taught. And so the list of faculty that are on your self-service under each course, all of them are going to be in that class. So you get all of them. You're all in the same room together. There's no breakouts. It's all 72 of you in one big happy family. So as long as you are registered and they're showing up on your calendar, you are good to go. So I hope that helps, Gracie. Any other questions? And I'm going to give it a minute or two because sometimes there's a lag.
I guess another reminder on my end, you guys should have this date in that tuition and financial aid FAQ email, but don't forget that on Friday, May 21st is when the tuition and financial aid orientation will take place. That's virtually, and that is separate from the orientation that's on May 24th. Now, it's not mandatory that you attend that live, but it will be mandatory that you at least go back and watch that session because it has a lot of really important information regarding tuition and financial aid. And there are also, there will be some opportunities for some phone appointments that afternoon as well. But if you can't make that work with your schedule, just let me know and we can set up something else with our student accounts office and our financial aid office. But like I said, that's Friday, May 21st.
So right before it starts. So a couple other questions that are popping up. One, if you are a Bellarmine undergrad, you do not need to submit a new photo. However, if your photo is from your freshman year and it doesn't look anything like you anymore, you might want to. Just because we use the photos that you submit for your ID for our photo collage that we give to faculty so they can figure out who's who on the first and second and 25th days of class. And I will tell you that I've gotten photos of students and looked at them and went, there is no way that this photo goes with that person. And it's because it was 4 years old and they've completely changed since then. So if you want to submit a new photo, you certainly can. If you're a Bellarmine student who has a current ID, you do not have to. Okay. The question about iPads, I'm going to check on that because I'm not sure. I'm I didn't do the ordering this year, so I need to just double check on that for you and figure out which ones they ordered. But I will try to post something in the Facebook group just so you know if you want to start working on cases. I'm also on that first day going to talk to you about other peripherals. Keyboards are nice to have because a lot of people will use them for note taking in addition to the test taking that we require you to use them for. Someone asks about leaving campus for lunch. On normal days, yes. The first day of orientation, we're going to try and figure out a way to do lunch together. But normal days, yes. The break you get for lunch is your time. You can go wherever you want. The reason that your schedule says that classes are in 2 different rooms right now is because we are still scheduled as we were in the spring, where we were splitting classes between 2 rooms for some pretty significant social distancing, and we are able to decrease some of that now. So we will let you know on that Monday which room you're going to be in, okay? When you get to orientation, you're checking in the lobby. We're going to funnel you up to the room that will be in that morning, and then we'll tell you where you need to go for class that afternoon. But it will be the same room all afternoon. And chances are you're going to be in the same room for every class all summer long, except for some lab breakouts. Another question about the iPad. Yeah, as soon as I can, I should be able to find out tomorrow what they've ordered, and I will put something in the Facebook group. And we will just give it another few minutes to catch up so that we can see if there are other questions.
I would also add that if anybody is just itching to start getting some Bellarmine apparel, you can definitely go ahead and order some via our bookstore's website. So if you just go to bellarmine.edu and then you can just search our bookstore, it'll take you to that website, and there's plenty of stuff to pick from. So feel free to check that out too if you want to, show up on day one with your Bellarmine gear ready to go.
I'll also let you know that generally the PT classes, the cohorts, use apparel ordering as a fundraiser for the cohort. And so the group ahead of you will let you know what they've been doing as far as ordering. They'll let you order on their next order and then help you get set up once you have class officers and if you decide that's something you want to do. Last day of finals is July 9th. And again, do not book a flight on July 9th because you may very well have an afternoon final. We do not have class on July 5th, which would normally be a finals day because of the 4th of July the day before. So we are going to have to use that Friday for finals. And you will not be excused from finals because you didn't know and booked a flight. So please don't do that. Make sure that you're ready to be in town on the 9th just in case, and then leaving either late that evening or the next morning. Okay. Any other questions? You're welcome. All right, guys. Well, I will try to find out. I will find out the iPad information tomorrow. Put that in the Facebook group for you. We're going to be spending probably 15-20 minutes during orientation just talking about use of your iPad, the apps you're going to need for school, some apps that might be useful, all of those kinds of things. So don't feel like you got to run out and buy stuff now, but if you want to, feel free to go ahead. On the clinical question, you can request, but please do not book housing somewhere because it's not a guarantee. Okay. We have 400 plus contracts with over 600 sites, and we're going to use the places that routinely give us good clinical placements to make sure that our students are getting the education they need. But you can put on your preference list places that you have housing. And that way, if the clin ed faculty are trying to find you a spot, they know that you have, grandma's house in Dallas and a cousin in New Jersey and whatever, so they can look for some places within our contract system to do that. It is very difficult to set up new contracts. And I can tell you that if it's an outpatient musculoskeletal clinic, we're probably not going to do it because we've got hundreds of those. If it is a specialty clinic or a place that's doing something unique and different, then it's something that they could look into, especially if it's a place where other students might go in the future. But please do not solidify a location for a clinical because it's not a guarantee. Okay, we have to work within the system that we have. And you're going to have orientation with the Clin Ed faculty on the second Friday. So not the 28th, but the 3rd. 3rd, I think. I'm doing the math in my head, not doing it well.
I think 4th.
4th, whatever
Yeah.
that following Friday is.
Yeah.
You're going to have Clin Ed orientation that morning, and they will go through the entire clinical education process with you just so that you're aware of what's going to happen. Anything else?
And if you guys find that these are really helpful, please feel free to give us some feedback and let us know if you'd like to have another one between now and program start. We're happy to do that in a couple weeks just to touch base and check back in.
All right. Well, you guys have a great night. There's some really good volleyball on TV tonight. The NCAA semifinals are on, so go watch them. Some really good matches. Otherwise, have a great rest of the evening. Those of you that are still in finals for this semester, finish strong. We look forward to seeing you at the end of May, and we're excited to get started. So we'll see you soon.
Thanks, y'all.